Guys, today we're going to talk a little bit more about adding with your fractions. And so we're going to do unlike denominators just so you can get a little more practice at seeing them. So again, I'm going to start out with one of your organizers. Today, I'm only going to be filling out the front. So I'm going to start by filling in this middle part. So in the middle here, we're going to do adding with unlike denominators. Now we have done the very first part of this, so I'm going to call this part 2, just so we can make sure that you have a good understanding of how to do them. Today, I'm not going to deal with mixed numbers. The only thing that I'm going to be doing is just going over some more examples of ones that have different denominators. Now, I will tell you this. I am going to use the butterfly method for this. Just so that you know that all of them are kind of following that piece. Okay, so for the first one, I'm going to start out. So for A, the problem is 2 over 8 plus 1 over 3. Now, the big thing for us is if we're going to do the butterfly method, I need to move this down a little bit so you have some room to actually make the butterfly. So remember to make the butterfly. I'm actually going to make that shape that looks like a butterfly. Now remember, when we're doing the butterfly method, the wings like this are things that are going to get multiplied together. So in that wing, I have 2 times 3, which is 6. And if I go this other wing, oops, I don't know what happened there. It's going to be 8 times 1, which is 8. So I am going to add these two pieces together to get the top of my fraction. So that's going to be 14. Now I'm going to worry about this bottom part down here. So I have 8 times 3, which is 24. So that part is going to go there. Now, the one thing that we've talked about all the way through this section is the importance of putting things in Desmos to check to see if it's going to reduce. So that part I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to put this fraction in Desmos and check it. So if I do 14 over 24, I get that fraction, but remember, we're going to hit that little fraction icon in the blue bar. And if I do, it's going to be 7 over 12. So right there, I'm just going to tell you, when you go to look at a test or a quiz, you're never going to see this one there. Or if you do, it's going to be incorrect because they're always going to expect that to go from here to there that you reduce if you can. Now, because we reduced, remember we use Desmos to do that. And that should be your last step on every single one. Okay, let's go to our next one. We're going to go to B. So on B, I have 1/2 plus 7/8. Now, I did move it down so there'd be a little bit more room. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to make my actual butterfly shape so I know that I kind of have that set up correctly. So remember, do the first one. We're going to multiply those two together. So 8 times 1 is 8. If I do this other one, it's going to be 2 times 7, which is 14. So I'm going to put those together to get the top of my fraction. So 8 plus 14 is going to be 22. Okay, now I'm going to get the bottom of my fraction together. So I have 2 and 8. So 2 times 8 is 16. So that part goes right there. And then remember, I'm going to go through and I'm going to put this into decimals to check it. So I'm going to do 22 over 16. I'm going to hit that little fraction icon in front of, in the blue bar in front of your fraction. So I get 11 over 8. So I'll get 11 over 8. Now my only issue with this is it's, even though it is reduced, this number is still bigger than the bottom. So that means that I can really take it and make it a mixed number. So I'm going to have to divide it out. So 8 would go into 11 one time with 3 left over. So it's 1 and 3/8. Now remember, I am using this check mark method to make sure I get my numbers in the right spot over here. That will help you as far as making sure that part is correct. Okay, let's go to C. So for C, 1/3 plus 7 over 9. And I'm going to bring this down so I have enough room to do the butterfly method. And I'm going to go ahead and set up the butterfly. Okay, so 9 times 1 will be 9. 7 times 3 is 21. So I'm going to put those together to get the top of my fraction. So that's going to be 30. Now on the bottom, I have 9 times 3, which is 27. And again, I've took that number and followed it on over. So now we're going to take this fraction and put it into decimals and see what we can do to reduce. So I have 30 over 27. I'm going to hit the fraction icon in the blue bar in front. So I get 10 over 9. So because the number on top is larger than the number on the bottom, it's improper. So I'm going to have to divide this out. So 9 goes into 10 once with 1 left over. So it's 1 and 1/9. Okay, let's move ourselves over to D. So it's 6 over 12 plus 6 over 8. Now again, we're going to use the butterfly method. So I'm going to get it down kind of towards, well, maybe not quite that far down. I'm going to do it a little bit down so I have room to be able to actually get my butterfly made. You could start to see we're getting more and more bigger numbers as we're starting to solve. So the first one is 8 times 6. Then the other direction, I have 12 times 6, which is 72. This is going to get put together to be the top of my fraction. So if I put 48 and 72 together, it's going to be 120. Now I can move myself to the bottom. So I'm going to deal with these two to make this. So 12 times 8 is 96. I'm going to move this over here. So we're going to start by taking and putting this into decimals to see if I can reduce it. So I have 120 for 96. Hit the fraction icon on the blue bar, and it becomes 5 over 4. Now, because that number on top is bigger than the number on the bottom, I'm going to have to divide it out. So 4 goes into 5 once. So it's 1 1/4. Okay, one more left. Let's head to E. So it's 8 over 11 plus 1 over 10. Okay, I got my butterflies set up, so let's start putting them together. The first one I'm going to put together is right here. So 8 times 10 is 80. If I do the other butterfly, I'm going to put it right here. So 11 times 1 is 11. I'm going to put those together on the top of the fraction. So 91. Now I'm going to start to take a look at the ones in the bottom to get right here. So 11 times 10 is 110. It's going to go here. Now the good news is the top number's smaller than the bottom number, so we know that's okay. But let's put this into decimals to see if it'll reduce. So 91 over 110. And then hit the fraction icon in front. So you can see this one doesn't change. That means it's reduced as it can be. So that means that's going to be your final answer. Okay, guys, we'll keep working.